I suspect Boruto has dark ideas. These 2 pages emphasize my point. You can see that Boruto does not agree with KASHIN Koji. Do you really think he's going to let his friends get beat up by the Shinju? Let's recap what happened. First, we see Boruto and KASHIN Koji hitting their best breaks. KASHIN Koji tells us that for now, everything is going as planned. Because, in case you don't know, KASHIN Koji, during the battle against Shiki Atsutsuki, when he was on death's door, he unlocked a shinjatsu. What is a shinjatsu? It is the ability to have super cheated jutsu that do not need a hand sign to be executed. These super cheated jutsu are not just simple big fireballs or call lightning, no. It is, for example, making anyone fall in love with you with a single glance, being able to change someone's past, like Ida's abilities. KASHIN Koji's ability is called the Jippo, the 10 Directions. This power is simple. See all possible futures. Because yes, in the Boruto universe, there is not only one future. There are several futures that, in quotes, fight among themselves to impose themselves. But it is not a multiverse where, for example, Boruto is dead. In the end, there is only one future that is possible. The future that will prevail depends on the actions of the different characters. So KASHIN Koji saw the different possibilities that could happen in the fight between Team 7 and the Shinju. I think he saw that the possibility that Team 7 would win against the Shinju was to carry out this plan. What plan? I will specify it to you, detail it, and tell you my theories in a future video.
Boruto logically asks, what happens next? KASHIN Koji tells him that Konohamaru will keep Matsuri busy, while Sarada, Mitsuki, Ayada, and Yodo kill Ryu. They will thus join Konohamaru and kill Matsuri. Then suddenly, Boruto asks the percentage of failure of this mission. We all know Boruto. He asks this because if the percentages would be low, Boruto will appear in SUNA to take care of it himself. Yes, Boruto is very confident about his strength. In Chapter 15, he tells us, he has gained an amazing power thanks to his masters. He doesn't want his friends to die, so he would be ready to appear in case of danger of death of one of his comrades. And then, after all, Boruto is stronger than these Shinjus, except Jura, as confirmed by KASHIN Koji in Chapter 13, where he tells us that in all possible futures, several are the times when it is Jura who kills Boruto, not another. Small parenthesis, this perhaps teases us that the battle between Kawaki and Boruto at the beginning of the manga will be victorious for Boruto. KASHIN Koji answers him, not that high. Look, first there are 3 little dots before his answer. This shows that KASHIN Koji hesitated to answer him. This confirms our suspicions. Why is he hesitating? Because if he tells him the real numbers of their percentage of losing this fight, Boruto will appear in SUNA to take care of it himself.
Boruto coldly tells him not to answer off the mark and to give him the percentages. Boruto is not stupid. He already knows that it is not for nothing that KASHIN Koji answers him vaguely. He knows that he has something to hide. Besides, this is not the first time that KASHIN Koji has been vague with Boruto. Especially the moment when Boruto tells him that he does not want to kill Kawaki. At that moment, KASHIN Koji appeared unresponsive and mysterious, as if he knew that it was not going to be possible. Boruto must have gotten a little fed up with KASHIN Koji hiding things from him. That's why he went to a direct verbal confrontation with KASHIN Koji.
KASHIN Koji then tells us that whatever happens, Boruto should not go to SUNA. Because if he would be brought to go there, Jura will appear and kill him. His case is similar to that of Himawari. Jura is therefore interested in the 3 members of the Uzumaki family. Naruto because he wants to ask him questions, Himawari because she has Kyuubi the 9-tailed fox demon in her, and Boruto because he knows too much information and is therefore a threat to the Shinjus.
Boruto then recalls the moment when Kashin Koji told him that he was far too important to the future of Konoha, and that he would rather not take any risks by sending Boruto on missions where Jura might make an appearance.
Do you really think Boruto is convinced? Do you really think Boruto will manage to stay put and not go to SUNA, where his friends will probably get torched by Ryu and Matsuri? Personally, I am not convinced by this theory.
Already, I think that Boruto is dying to go to SUNA because he wants to help his friends and, above all, so that no one dies. Let's imagine that the mission goes awry, that Sarada, Mitsuki, Ayada, and Yodo somehow failed to kill Ryu. As a result, they will be struggling to defeat him. Just hearing that, we know that Boruto will imagine that Sarada or Mitsuki dies. At that moment, nothing will be able to hold him back, and he will leave without Kashin Koji even having time to tell him anything.
By appearing in SUNA, Boruto will take care of Ryu. Depending on Ryu's power, Boruto will either need the help of Sarada and Mitsuki, which would reform Team 7, but I think more that Boruto will solo Ryu and give us yet another demonstration of power. But, as soon as Ryu is defeated, they won't have time to join Konohamaru before.
Will try to give it his all. Right on Rasengan, Hiraishin, Swordsmanship, Suidan, none of that will be able to stop Jura.
Not even the Yuzuhiko Rasengan? I'm telling you that this jutsu is overpowered. It uses the planet's chakra to make its power infinite. In addition, when it is at its weakest, it makes the opponent's head spin, creating dizziness, and so on, until either the Earth stops spinning, which is impossible, or Boruto himself cancels the technique. This jutsu might work against Jura, don't you think?
No, because despite this technique being very powerful, the charging of this technique is slow, and I don't think Jura will go have a coffee while Boruto calmly charges this technique. Jura is not going to let him do it. Plus, not only is it slow, but Boruto can't leave the ground to use this technique. And Jura can fly. So, I don't think Boruto will use this technique unless Sarada and Mitsuki try to create a diversion to take down Jura, but honestly, I think they are too weak for this fight. Even if Sarada uses her Manjikyu Sharingan. I think everyone forgot something, someone who will save Boruto. Well, if he finally decides to appear, Boruto won't die in SUNA.
MASSACRE お前がその全てを失うのは変われ小僧螺旋弾
Save Boruto, because if Boruto dies, he dies too. And so he will have no chance of being reborn and eating the chakra fruit. I think Boruto won't even be able to fight against Momoshiki's control, because he'll be very damaged. Because remember all the appearances of Momoshiki. He appears all the time when Boruto is in danger of death, or when Boruto uses too much karma. Against Burrow, for example, Boruto was going to die. Against Code, Boruto had used his karma for far too long. And against Ishiki, he was really damaged, so Momoshiki took advantage of it to take control.
It is true that remembering Momoshiki's goals, it is more than obvious that if Boruto is in mortal danger, Momoshiki will appear to save him. But do you really think he will succeed in defeating Jura? He is still very, very powerful.
Nah, he'll win. Here's why.
First, let's recall who Jura is and what his different combat skills are. Jura is the self-consciousness of Jubi, the 10-tailed demon. These combat skills are diverse. First, during his confrontation against the Ino Chikacho team, Jura showed us a sensational mastery of taijutsu. Hand-to-hand combat therefore poses no problem for him. With one hand movement, he broke Himawari's foot without any difficulty. Afterwards, Jura pushes Inujin back without flinching. We can deduce that his mastery of taijutsu is rather decent. Now, let's talk about his jutsu arsenal. From what we've seen in the manga, Jura is capable of using the Mokotan jutsu. It was with this jutsu that he almost killed Inujin. I don't think I need to remind you that Mokotan-type jutsu are overpowered. Hashirama was also the strongest shinobi of his time just by mastering Mokotan. The fact that Jura can master Mokotan, the art of mastering wood, makes him one of the strongest in the manga. In addition to mastering this art, Jura can also make biju bombs of any size he wants. In the manga, Jura only uses small biju bombs to be more precise. Do I need to remind you of the damage a biju bomb can do? To make it short, it can destroy an entire landscape and, at a tiny size, can literally one-shot the strongest member of the Uzumaki clan, Boruto Uzumaki himself. These are the only jutsu shown by Jura, but it would be misunderstanding how the Shinjus work if I told you that this is all he is capable of doing. Remember, all Shinjus are the alter ego of a shinobi. For example, Hidari is Sasuke's alter ego, Matsuri is Moegi's alter ego, etc. The Shinjus have access to the chakra of the person they embody. Example with Hidari, who masters the Chidori and Fire Jutsu. Jura is the alter ego of Jubi, the demon with 10 tails. It would therefore be logical that Jura has access to all the jutsu that the 10-tailed demon could perform. This truly makes Jura an unrivaled opponent.
That's right. With everything you just told us, Jura is an unbeatable opponent. But there is one exception. The cheat code of the shinobi world. Maybe Momoshiki would have struggled to beat him, but Borushiki, Momoshiki in Boruto's body, he is unbeatable. Borushiki is the biggest threat that the shinobi world has to them, more than Jura, Kawaki, or even Nishiki Otsutsuki. Momoshiki Otsutsuki is one of the most powerful characters in the Naruto and Boruto series, possessing abilities derived from his Otsutsuki heritage and mastery over various forms of combat. First, let's talk about his taijutsu and physical abilities. Momoshiki possesses superhuman strength and agility, allowing him to overpower and outmaneuver most opponents in close combat. His hand-to-hand combat is exception-allowing, especially with the help of his Byakugan. With this dojutsu, Momoshiki is able to use the Hyuga clan's most fearsome technique, the 64 palms of the Hake, which cuts off all the flow of his opponent's chakra. Suffice to say that if Jura opposes Momoshiki in taijutsu, he risks very big. Momoshiki can hold his own in physical confrontations using raw power and precision. But let's move on to the most interesting part, Momoshiki's ninjutsu. Momoshiki is particularly skilled in absorbing and utilizing chakra-based attacks. Using the Rinnegan on his palms, Momoshiki can absorb any ninjutsu directed at him, rendering most conventional attacks useless. So all the little tricks that Jura we'll send to Momoshiki will not work on Momoshiki. Besides, by doing that, he strengthens Momoshiki by giving him chakra. Remember that when Momoshiki absorbs an attack, he can send it back 10 times more powerful. These elemental ninjutsu are equally powerful. After absorbing Kinshiki Otsutsuki, Momoshiki gains access to a variety of elemental techniques, including Fire Release, creates devastating fire attacks. Wind Release, summons powerful wind-based assaults. Lightning Release, generates high-voltage lightning strikes. Earth Release, manipulates the ground and earth around him. Water Release, conjures torrents of water for attacks. With his chakra, Momoshiki Otsutsuki can create massive chakra constructs such as chakra weapons. He forms weapons from pure chakra for offense. He realized this during the fight against Naruto and Sasuke. On top of all that, Momoshiki possesses a space-time technique. He can travel across dimensions and manipulate space-time to move freely across different dimension. You think that's all he's got? No, it's not over. He still has the karma mark. Karma multiplies by 10 the physical abilities and all the jutsu performed by the user of this mark. But Momoshiki understood that strength is useless without a brain. He is a tactical genius. Momoshiki is a highly intelligent fighter who can analyze and counter his opponent's strategies in real time. Adding to that, as an Otsutsuki, Momoshiki possesses extraordinary longevity and near immortality, allowing him to endure extreme damage. Not only being a big threat like this, he will also have access to Boruto's entire arsenal, and even create jutsu like the Resenden. Just imagine Momoshiki, with all his intelligence and combat experience, using Boruto's jutsu like the Yuzuko Rasengan and the Flying Raijin. A confrontation between Momoshiki and Jura is not even close.
I think Jura will realize that Borushiki is way too strong for him, and he will escape via Code's claw marks. I don't think the writers will kill Jura like that. But while fleeing, Sarada, Mitsuki, Ayara, Konohamaru, and Yodo will find themselves facing Momoshiki. This is where Momoshiki's massacre will begin. Momoshiki will literally beat up anyone who gets in his way until Boruto comes to his senses. A bit like in Jujutsu Kaisen, where Ryomen Sukuna destroys everything in his path just for a bit of fun until Yuji comes to his senses. I can't even imagine the number of victims Borushiki will make.
I even think there will be deaths. I think Konohamaru, Ayara, or Yodo will die if Momoshiki is brought to take control of Boruto's body. I don't think Sarada and Mitsuki will die because I think they can defend themselves against Momoshiki, but above all, they are too important for the rest of the story.
That's it. This is the end of this theory video. I hope you liked it. Tell us your opinions in the comments. I will read them with pleasure. Feel free to like or dislike if you like this video or not. Subscribe if you like my content, or unsubscribe if you don't like the content. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time.